everyone, and welcome to the Jammin Jukebox radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and we are here with you at a special time. Normally we're here in the evenings, but we are so glad to be here with you. It is Friday. The weekend is upon us. Just a few short hours. Many of you are going to be calling it a week. I already have. I'm already on my weekend pursuit, and loving the fact it's Friday afternoon. So welcome and happy Friday, everyone. So glad to have you all here. And if you're brand new to our program today, I want to tell you, thank you so much for stopping by, and you picked a great first time to tune in because the artist that we have today, I am so ecstatic about. I mean, I just discovered his music recently, I'm talking in the last several weeks, and it's the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to get him on my show because I am a big electronica dance type music fan anyway. I love its beats. I love the way it just kind of flows and goes on, and it just makes you feel good. And this artist has nailed it, and it is just phenomenal. His name is Hensley. He's got a brand new album out. It's called Beyond This, and I'm telling you, when we wrap today, I'm going to give you where you can go and find him online, all of his social media info, so you can check him out. And I'm telling you, you better be listening because we will be featuring his music moving forward. It is that good. It definitely is the kind of music that needs to be heard. So without further ado, I'm very pleased and happy to bring on Hensley, the artist. Hello, Hensley.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Had a good morning so far, so I can't complain.
Well, it's Friday, and Fridays are supposed to be good anyway, right?
Right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here. I know we had you scheduled last week, and then for whatever reason, my internet decided to just have a mind of its own and just go out on me 15 minutes before airtime, which was like, really? So I'm so thankful that you were, I'm so appreciative and thankful that you were able to, rearrange your schedule and be here today for this. So thank you so very much.
Of course. It's my pleasure.
Well, I really just want to jump right into this thing because, first off, we were talking before we went live, but my gosh, this is no joke. When I heard your album the first time, and actually how I even came across you was I saw a tweet in my feed just kind of going by, and I don't even remember who was tweeting about your new album, but honestly, I of course, being an indie music lover and curious about new indies out there, I naturally clicked on the link for your site, and there was your music, and I started listening, and one song led to another. I could not stop listening. It was awesome, and I was just so blown away, and I was like, I've got to get you on my show because you have the kind of music and the sound that definitely people need to know about. They need to hear. So this is a great album, Beyond This, and so how did you get started? I mean, if you always has music always kind of been your thing, or is this something you kind of eased into with time?
No, music's always been something I've done for a long time. I started writing music when I was 15 years old, and piano was my first instrument, and then I went from there to guitar and bass and started learning Persian drumming from a friend of mine that used to do Persian music, and I just started. I was really interested in very abstract music like, Dead Can Dance and the Gypsy Kings and, just different types of music, classical and opera. And so at some point, I started to have this vision of what I wanted my music to sound like. And basically that's kind of where we're at today. I mean, I had the opportunity to work with, John Brown, who is an exceptional producer that is a good friend of mine as well, and we got together and dreamed together and made it happen, and this is where we're at.
Well, I know John is phenomenal. I've had the privilege of speaking with him, and he was telling me a little story about you. He said that when you got into the studio and you were just kind of tooling around with some of the stuff, he encouraged you. He said, "Man, you need to make an album. You need to put this stuff out there." And kudos to him. I am so glad that he encouraged you to do that because this music is really off the chain good. It's one of my favorite albums that I've heard in 2013. I have to tell you, it's up there. So and John, the work he's done on this, combined with your, the collaborative effort of your talent, is just unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe how great it turned out.
Oh, no, it's, what it is, I think is interesting about life is that you meet certain people along the way that have similar dreams, have a similar vision, have the same kind of goal. And when I met John, I knew he was pretty much on the same page. We had the same kind of vision. We wanted to do something that was going to make an impact, that was going to be different. And when I came forward with some of the songs that I had and things that I've done throughout the past, and because I've written easily over 2,000 songs since I was 15 years old. So it's just like my style has relatively changed throughout the years, but the vision has never gone away, which is at the end of the day is to send a message to people that causes them to be inspired and motivated and to be that voice of reason when they don't have one. So that's kind of been always my main focus in creating music, and I've always had that vision of orchestral with, a very rhythmic, very powerful, very epic, very grandioso type of, music. And getting together with John was a little too easy because our chemistry was just, was very mutual. And our first song that we actually did together was Digital World, which is the first song. It's one of the songs on the record itself. That was actually our first song that we attempted to do together. And then from there, we just jumped on the roller coaster together and said, let's do this. And he has a lot of faith in me, and I have a lot of faith in him, and I'm very grateful and very honored that we're able to be in each other's lives in this way.
Well, and I have to tell you, it is an inspiring record because just, if someone buys your album and the first thing they see are the titles of the songs, of the tracks on the album, the titles themselves are very inspiring. And what do you draw from when you were making this record? What was kind of even though you've done, 2,000 plus songs over the span of your career, but for this record in particular, what was your real inspiration behind this record? Because it seems like these tracks, the names of these tracks kind of have a running thread throughout the album.
Yeah, there is a running thread. When I came up with the idea for this album, for me, I know this is going to sound strange, but I'll try to word it the best way that I can. Because we live in a world that is filled with a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of questions, a lot of doubts, a lot of chaos, a lot of instability, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and people are all over the place. And everybody's living in fear, and they're living in question and doubt. I'm the kind of person, I tend to internalize people's emotions to the point that I'm able to take on their emotions and what they're going through, and I get alone with myself and God and say, what can we do? What kind of song can we create that is going to be an answer for that part of their life? And so that's definitely where I'm at. That's what I draw from. That's my inspiration and my motivation for making music and doing what I do is I want to be the voice that in their life that they're like, it's almost like if they could sing a song through their pain, the song that they would wish they could sing, then that's the song that I wanted to write. I wanted to give them the answer they're going through.
Well, I have to tell you, there's nothing weird or odd about that at all. And listen to you describe this just gave me cold chills because, as I was reading the song titles before I ever started, listening to the tracks, it felt spiritual to me. Regardless of anyone's affiliation, it had that spiritual, the titles themselves, which is inspiring in its own right. And then to hear the music and how it was kind of tied to the title, and then to see that there was something bigger, that you were trying to convey to the listener than it just being a song. I mean, it is powerful stuff, and I think it is the kind of music that not only people enjoy listening to, but it's very impactful. I mean, it makes people think, and it gives them that inspiration and that hope that they are looking for in the midst of their pain, which I totally get it. I totally get your music.
Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. You know, it's very interesting when making an album, because there's in the process of making this album, I definitely have my moments of getting very emotional and being, just going through the actual battle itself. It's almost like I was going through the battle that people were going through just to see the song come through to its end. And it's a very vulnerable place when you're putting yourself out there in that way, and you're trying to, because the music today, there's a lot going on with the music today that has a really just a bad flavor and a bad message, and it's not healthy, and it's not exactly giving people anything to look forward to. What it's doing is it's stopping them, and it's freezing them into a moment, and they're kind of being put into this box, and before they know it, they're trapped inside this little place of becoming just like everybody else. And it's a trend, and it's a moment, and then before you know it, that when they're really going through something in their life, they're saying, how do I get out of this box? How do I get out of this box of what I've allowed myself to be brainwashed by? And it's so important that there's some artists out there that have the ability and desire to try to create a message that says, I want to be that hand that's reaching inside that box and pulling those people out and saying, here, let me shed some light onto you. Let me open your eyes to the truth. And I know that I'm here to do that, and I know that is my purpose and my reason for being here on this earth, is to be a voice, to be an advocate, to be an ambassador, to be that person that prophetically speaks, musically speaks. It's my responsibility, and I enjoy it greatly. There's nothing about it that makes me think, is it worth it, or is it crazy what I'm doing, or is anybody going to get it? I knew as soon as God gave me the vision that as soon as it would happen, that people were going to get it, and that it was going to speak life. And that's more important than anything, is when music speaks life, when people are living in a world that is dead.
Oh, my gosh. That is incredibly, prophetic and powerful, because in all honesty, that's what God puts us here for. He puts us here with the purpose in mind of being an outreach and being an inspiration to others. And you're right. In this world that we live in, it is so dark and cold, and there's so much going on that people have to deal with day in and day out. And musically, you touched on that so well. There's so much negativity in music, and there's so many things that are being promoted through music that are not good. And you're right, it's trapping people into these boxes, and there's not enough good, inspirational, help me kind of music out there that people need to draw from. Because, and I'm sure you can agree to this, but music to me is a universal language, and it's one of those things that speaks to people like nothing else does. And how one person may interpret a song, someone else may interpret it completely differently. And a lot of times people are drawing from music to try to, because they're looking for something to pull them out of whatever darkness they may be in. And if there's a dark song that they're listening to, it's not going to pull them out of the darkness. It's only going to pull them farther into it. But they don't realize that. And so your music, that was one of the things, as I started listening to it, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I was listening to the music, and how it was just kind of all flowing. Your album is one of those albums that you put it in, you listen to that first song, and you go all the way through it, and it's in a journey. And when you come to the end of the album, you feel like you've lived an experience. And there is an uplifting, life-altering feeling that you have, because it's empowering. It's very empowering. It's not, another reason why I like your album is because it's not like what you hear, on mainstream radio. It's not what you're hearing out here all the time, which seems to be kind of this message that society continually promotes. So it's very deep stuff. but I think people get it because people are hungry and they're clamoring for something like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every song on the album has its purpose for being there. I was very strategic about why I wanted it to be titled The King, or I wanted it to be called The Prophet, or Becoming Real, or The Floor, or Warrior's Cry. There was a reason for it all. Every title there's a message behind the title. The King is different various parts of saying, there's the kings of this world, there's the kings that are outside of this world, there's the kings of the past. And then what is the true definition of a king? The definition of a king is someone who's a leader. And in the King, the King is a prophetic song. It's a song that, the whole intro is very Martin Luther King-ish type of vibe, but, that was the whole purpose behind it, was to kind of bring something old, something new together, and create a cinematic moment where you're hearing something that just, like, what language is that guy singing in? Like, what is he doing there? And I wanted people to ask questions because I want them to understand that there's something greater and bigger that's going on. That song, The King, is kind of a reflection of what I'm going to be doing in my future records. So it's like a snapshot. I'm kind of giving you a little taste of what the third record's going to be like and the fourth record's going to be like, that it's going to start moving into that family. It's going to start moving into that direction where, because I have an ultimate vision of all my future records. And this is, everything has to have steps, and it goes in order, so that people can grow with me, so that people can actually learn to appreciate what it is that I'm really offering to them and to their lives, because I first received it from God first. So it's my job to give it back to people. So it's, I'm here to serve people.
And we all are, and that's the thing. I mean, when we're steeped in a world, Hensley, of people that are kind of in that me. It's a society of me. I want. And it's refreshing to have someone like yourself who is, out here taking something and using your talent for good, and not just for the good of yourself, but for the good of others, to inspire, to motivate, to change lives, and to really take people to a place and a level that they either can't get to on their own or they refuse to look to. But it is very life-changing, and I'm so excited that there's going to be more of this, and this is kind of like, the foundation album, and then it will kind of reveal itself as time goes on with each album that you make. I mean, it is definitely born of a vision. You can definitely see this.
That's awesome. It's very humbling for me to hear people's experience with the album, because at the end of the day, you can't expect everybody to like and love what you do, and nor do I expect everyone to like what I do. In fact, I'm prepared for people to hate what I do. There's a beauty in it, but there was something that was shared to me not so long ago. It says, if you're willing to be a legend and a president at the same time, then you can do the impossible. And I'm not just wanting the praises of man without being willing as being seen as the least. And I think if you can accept both with equal quality and not want one more than the other, then I think that's when you can do the impossible in life. I think that's when you can actually do something that no one's ever done before. And I think that's where I'm at, in my journey.
I have to agree, and I love what you just said there, because there are going to be people that do not do this, but those are the people who need to hear it the most. That's my philosophy. And those are the people, that's kind of like a conviction of the heart and conviction of the spirit. When they hear this, Oftentimes, when famous people, I've got a really good friend right now who's kind of getting some notoriety over some different things, and she's kind of had some haters come out of the woodwork, and I've told her over and over, I've said, if you didn't have haters, you wouldn't be doing something right, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that, because when you're doing what has been laid on your heart to do, and it's a mission and it's a journey, we can embrace and expect that there's going to be some resistance, because people are, like you said at the beginning of this interview, people are hurting everywhere, yet they're clamoring, they're looking, they're searching, but they're looking in all the wrong places in a lot of times. So when something comes along that really does give them that fulfillment that they need, and that they're searching for, sometimes they have a hard time embracing it because they believe it's too good to be true. Because it is really as simple as people make it, but people make things a lot harder than they have to be, And so the pushback always comes. But this, as long as an artist, you understand that, and if you keep on keeping on in spite of that, your records are going to reach so many people, it's not even going to be funny. And those who resist will turn, and they will change. I have to believe that.
I receive that. I receive what you're saying. I think that is beautiful, and I appreciate that. I mean, the only thing I'm trying to do in this whole life is just love people. I'm trying to give them something that doesn't sound cheesy and sounds like, I was about to sing a song and impersonate something, but I'm not going to go there. But let's just say the teeny bopper, I got candy in my hand and I'm running around type of thing, none of those, not cheesy,
Right.
I wanted to try to make a combination of how can I get the youth and the older generation and the mid-generation, how can I bring everybody together? And it's really simple, love. You touch on the very aspect of everyone's heart. You give them a little taste of what they think they're used to listening to. You take something old, take something new, just like a wedding, You take something old, something new, you put it together, let's have a marriage, and that's basically what that's exactly what I want to do with this album. So, I'm sure it's going to go in that direction.
Well, and I'm a big believer that if God puts something on our hearts, and it's a purpose and a journey that He wants us to carry out, His plans will be accomplished. And you definitely have got the right vision. You've got the right idea, and love is at the very core of it all. And because that is really why people are hurting in this world, and that's why there are problems in this world, because there's a lack of love. There's a lack of understanding. And if we had that within ourselves, we wouldn't be seeing on a daily basis all of the things that are going on around us of such a negative nature. The world would be a much different place. So what you're doing is incredible. I'm a fan. I have to tell you, from the first note I heard on your album, I was like, oh my gosh, this is powerful stuff. This is not your typical music that you just turn on the radio and listen to, or what indie artists are out there making. This is a step above, because there's a greater vision for your music versus what most people are trying to do, which is just, I love to do music, and they're putting it out there. And that's not to minimize it. Everybody has their place and role, but you have a calling, and it's very apparent in this album.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome, and I mean it. It definitely spoke to me that way. Of course, I'm kind of an intellectual, deep thinker anyway. So as I listen to music, I'm always looking for the message in the music. And it was, like I said earlier, before I ever heard the music, I read the track titles, the album, the name of the album, Beyond This, and I began to kind of get an idea that, there's a message in this music here. And then I started listening to music, and it wasn't long before I realized, yes, this is more than just your typical album that's being put out by great artists. There's an agenda that is going to make lives change. People are going to really grasp this and hold on, because there's so few things out there that society has to offer that people can really relate to and hold on to. And if they do, it's very fleeting. It lasts a moment, and then they have to look for something else. That's just the way it works in this world, unfortunately. But this, people can embrace, and they can like I told you earlier, The Floor, I love that song among many of the songs on the album, but it's just one of those I just play over and over. I love it. So it definitely has spoken to me. But Hensley, I am just so excited for you and the things that are going to come, and I have no doubt that the journey that you are going to be taking on through your music, as you have been through the years, is going to continue, and it's going to continue. It's going to get even more powerful and bigger as time goes on. I have no doubt about that.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and it's like these moments that happen, along the way, just being able to talk to you and different people as things are progressing, just have to truly, I believe you have to be truly grateful for the steps along the way, because, life changes quickly and things move quickly, and I think if people pay attention closely to the signs along the way, they'll figure it out, that they'll see that there's so many answers being revealed to them each and every day. And for me, speaking of The Floor, that's one of my favorite songs on the album, and I just want people to celebrate. You won't know it until you see it live. That's the way that I look at it, If you heard the record, wait till you see it live. I want you to experience, I want you to experience that feeling, that knowledge of where it truly came from and why it's really happening.
Well, let's talk about live for a minute. Are you in the process of putting together a tour for this album?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, I hope you come to the East Coast. I know you're on the West Coast, but I would love for you to come to the East Coast, because your show is one of those shows I would definitely come out to see, for sure. I get a lot of invites, and a lot of times I don't want the time commitment. With my show schedule, I can't always go, but I would clear my schedule to come see you. If you come to North Carolina, or if you come to the East Coast, I definitely would make a point, because I can only imagine. I mean, listening to it is one thing, but to see it live, oh my gosh, I imagine it would be quite incredible. So, and quite an experience too.
Yeah, no, there's something that always happens live that I can't explain in words. It's almost something that it's an experience. It's even for myself. When I perform live, there's something very beautiful and powerful happens live, and it's out of my control at that point. So it's really amazing, to watch people react and respond, and to see it's almost like when I would perform live, it's like I could look into that person's eyes and I could see where they were before they walked in. And then by the time that I'm done, it's like there's a whole new look on their face. There's like a rebirth that's like occurring in them, and they're looking at me with this huge smile on their face, and it's something that I can't explain, but it's an amazing experience, and it's very humbling.
Well, and it's also it's attributed to transforming lives, and your music definitely is transforming. And as more people hear it, more and more lives are going to be changed, because it is the kind of music that people need to hear. I'm a big proponent of get rid of the garbage that's on the radio, and this is the kind of music that, no slant against any artist out there. They're all immensely talented, but there's just too much, in my opinion, garbage. There's too much of the negative stuff out there. And we need more of this. People need this, because this is what speaks volumes to people's souls and to their hearts. This fly-by-night, down at the club kind of stuff is a momentary thing that is just for the moment. It's not something that's lasting, and it leaves people empty and still hungry, wanting something and looking for something. This does not. This fulfills, and this is the way music should be, in my opinion.
Thank you so much for saying that. That really is awesome of you, because thank you. That's the thing that it's like, if I could have a huge megaphone to talk to the younger generation and they could all hear me at once, I would say, boycott, boycott this music that is polluting you, and blast, a song or two, you know, so that they could see what it's like to hear something that's alive, you know.
I agree.
Not that I'm saying I'm used to all that in a bag of chips, so I'm just saying that, you know, I'm just saying that at the end of the day, my only desire is to come into people's lives through music and speak to their mind, body, soul, and spirit at the same time. And I think a lot of times music just speaks to their mind and to their emotions and not to the spirit, you know.
That's so true. And when you think about our youth of today being the leaders of tomorrow, and their minds are getting filled with the garbage, so to speak, in music, that's what they hear, and then that's what they come to believe, that that's the way life should be, that's the way society is supposed to be, and they really don't have a real grasp or an idea of just how beautiful life can be. And it all has to do with the music and what's being, like you said, they're being polluted. And they need stuff that's pure and stuff that's wholesome and stuff that's going to build them up and fulfill them, so that when they go out to be the leaders of tomorrow, they're going to be real change agents in this world, not just existing for the sake of the moment that they're in.
Like, you couldn't have said it any better. I like that's well put.
Thank you so much. Well, Hensley, I could have hours about this, because you are my kind of guy in terms of, I mean, you really hit the nail on the head in so many ways. You've got it figured out, I guess is the best way to put it. You know what life is really all about. And through your music, you're going to be able to show others what life is all about. And really, that's what we're put here for, is to make that difference in the lives of others in a positive way. And your music is outstanding, and you definitely have a fan for life in me. I love your music, and I cannot wait to see future projects as they emerge, as I know they will, to see how this is all going to unfold as time goes on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on your show and letting me come on and say what I got to say and all that kind of good stuff. You know, you know, I'm very, you know, I just enjoy everything along the way. I appreciate everything along the way. So, you know, I feel very blessed that I had the opportunity to hang out with you and talk with you and share with you about the album.
Oh, I think the one blessed today is me. And thank you for, you know, putting out some great music that people need to hear. And, you know, and my whole goal here with this show is to promote artists and the music, but I can tell you, you're one artist that definitely needs to be heard, and not just here on this show, but everywhere. So we will do all we can to push your music and push it heavily, because it is great stuff. And we definitely want to wish you the best as you continue to move forward. We'd love to have you back each time you have a new project out to talk about it, and you're welcome back anytime. We'd love to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything.
All right. Well, take care, Hensley. It's been a pleasure having you on our show today, and thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless you. Have a beautiful day.
All right. You
Bye.
do the same. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
We've been speaking with Hensley, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you, the new album, you need to go to his website, because he has it posted there. There's a picture of him. The new album is called Beyond This, and it's full length. You can hear all of the album in its entirety right there. And I'm telling you, you start playing it and you won't stop. It just kind of pulls you in and won't let you go. It's a great, great album. It's very inspiring. It's motivating. It's very powerful. It really does speak to your soul. And I tell you, if you need an uplift, you need to go to Hensley's website, which, by the way, it's theartisthensley.com. And you can listen to it, like I said, in its entirety. It's going to be on iTunes very soon, and as soon as we know when it's officially dropping, we will tweet that out. We will have information on our website about it, so that you know, you guys will know where to go and get it, because I'm telling you, it's one of those you want to buy and have in your collection. It's one of those that it's the go-to album when you've had a really rotten day and you need to be picked up, and you need hope, and you need inspiration, and you need faith. This is your album. And it, you know, it doesn't matter what religious affiliation you are, or if you're not religious, because in this world, it's not really about being religious. It doesn't matter what you believe, but I think in the grand scheme of things, we all need to be empowered. We all need to feel loved. We all need to feel important. And in a lot of cases, because we get beat down by others' words and actions, we tend to, lose our self-confidence. We feel worthless. And there's so many things that are kind of going against us on a daily basis. Hensley's music is the music that not only stirs your soul, but calms your soul and transforms your soul and makes you believe in yourself and believe that there is a greater purpose in this life and beyond this. No pun intended, but that is the whole concept of the album. And I know this is heavy stuff, but you know what? Sometimes the heaviest stuff in life is the best stuff in life. And I love stuff like this, but his music certainly has touched me, and I guarantee you it will touch you as well. Also, if you want to check out Hensley on Twitter, he is at Hensley Music, and you can follow him and stay up to date on all the things going on with his music and when he will be on tour and appearing hopefully near you. But we want to extend a huge amount of gratitude to him today for being gracious enough to rearrange his schedule to be here this week because he was supposed to be on last week. It's definitely been a great show, great interview, and you can count on we will have him back a time and again to talk about future projects. So thank you so very much for being with us today, and if you're brand new, again, welcome aboard. Hope that you enjoyed this interview as much as we did. So with that, that's going to be a wrap, folks, and certainly hope that you will join us. We will be back here tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing our Indie Artist Showcase featuring some of the best indie music we have found anywhere, so we hope that you'll be around for that. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a very happy Friday, and I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care, all. God bless. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.